Herb was driving in Las Vegas when he watched another driver run a red light. That's not what this clip is about though. While Herb was waiting for the light to turn green, as one does when at a red light, an oncoming driver ignored the red light and drove straight through it, getting T-boned in the process. The vehicle kept rolling after the impact, slamming into Herb's Nissan Frontier. The Chevy was a rental and the driver was drunk. When the police came, he didn't remember running the red light and told them that he'd been run into twice. The airbags in Herb's truck had deployed and all three vehicles had to be towed. Fortunately, there were no major injuries. Herb asked us to shout out his wife Jessica and her friend Jennifer. They both love the Wham Bam channels and can't wait to upgrade to Teslas someday. This submitter was heading home after running errands when she ended up behind a road-raging pickup driver. After aggressively tailgating a car for a while, the driver of the car changed lanes. That's when the pickup driver attempted to run them off the road. After this failed, the pickup driver must have realized that it would only be a matter of time before the cops were called, so they fled down the shoulder of the road. The submitter called the police to try to find out if anything else happened, but she never heard back from them. Check out this close call that Muhammad experienced. This is why you should always check your blind spot before changing lanes. Muhammad just kept driving along after dodging the dangerous driver, but check out this next clip he sent us. The driver of a silver car crossed every lane of a highway to reach an exit, and what an exit it was! How many style points is this maneuver worth? Judges, post your scores in the comments below. The driver of a Nissan SUV turned in front of Dave to get to a shopping center parking lot. Dave slammed on his brakes but had no hope of stopping in time. It cost $10,000 to repair his 8-month-old Volkswagen Passat, and the other driver's insurance covered the entire bill. Time for another Tesla behaving badly. This clip comes from a submitter who captured this gem in a Boston suburb. While the submitter was overtaking the Tesla, the driver made a left turn from the right lane, cutting them off and forcing them to brake to avoid a collision. Teslas aren't the only vehicles that make reckless moves. This submitter was passed by a duet of dangerous drivers while traveling in Germany. The drivers of a Renault and a Mercedes cut dangerously close to the submitter in order to cut around him before a merge. A little further down the road, both vehicles used the bike lane to cut around some more traffic. Classy. Aaron was headed home after lunch and was planning to pass the vehicles on his right to get on I-5. When the light turned green, a car in the oncoming turn lane ran the red light and caused a 3-car accident. I can already hear the bad drivers in the comments saying, "Those other drivers didn't even try to slow down. This is their fault too." Well, the cops, the courts, and all involved insurance companies disagree with you. Thanks to the Red Light Runner's insurance provider, Aaron replaced his Kia Rio with a Honda Civic. Look out, Teslas. Daniel was waiting at a stoplight when the driver of a minivan cut through a parking lot to get around 3 whole cars before turning, hilariously getting no further ahead than Daniel after this genius move. It wasn't until he watched the video that Daniel realized the woman driving the minivan had just left the liquor store. Maybe that explains why she thought this maneuver was a good idea. Kat experienced something similar up in the Great White North when a pickup driver decided to skip a long line of patient drivers waiting at a traffic light by going off-road. Now that's some smart thinking. Raven was driving in Moreno Valley when they witnessed a double rear-end accident. Take a look at this white car. The white car hit another and pushed it into a third. Raven didn't know if they'd captured the accident 2 lanes over, but after going home and seeing they had, they went back to the scene to offer their dashcam footage. It turned out the white car that had started the chain reaction had fled the scene, hitting yet another car in the process and leaving their bumper cover and license plate behind. Raven gave copies of their dashcam footage to the cops and the victims, and they found out later that the driver who'd caused the accident had been found and arrested. Colton was headed to get some mahi-mahi with his wife when the driver of a red car decided to start a multi-point turn in the middle of a main road right in front of him. Colton was able to slow down and swerve around the car once it was clear that it wasn't going to be getting out of the way anytime soon. He was so shocked by the experience, he had to pull over and stop for a while just to collect himself. Thankfully, although shaken, they weren't injured. Anthony was driving in London when he was suddenly passed by an Audi that nearly rear-ended a bus. He was shocked because he hadn't even seen the car behind him before this, and he had no idea where it had come from. It wasn't until later, when he reviewed the footage, that he saw the full extent of the Audi driver's recklessness. Anthony sent this video to the police, and after the registered owner of the Audi failed to respond to them, they got hit with a fine amounting to over $1,200 US. Dragos was driving his Nissan Leaf in Romania when another driver changed lanes without checking for traffic, sideswiping his car. The force of the impact launched the offending vehicle forward and into another car. After contacting the police, all 3 drivers had to file insurance claims. Here's what his car looked like after the accident. Here's the car that hit him. And here's the car they hit after hitting Dragos. I'm guessing the local body shop isn't having any trouble finding work to do. It seems like impatience is a trend lately. A pickup driver in Pennsylvania found an interesting method to cheat his way past a red light. Well, okay then. Do you have a dashcam video that you want to share with us? Please send the video together with a description of what happened using the link in the description below.